Shalom, peace and blessings. Moshe Yasharel, your hostess with the mostest. Welcome to my channel. I'm back with another word of wisdom. Today we're gonna be coming out of Mark 9, 14 through 28. And I think it's very important. The name of this video is gonna be Walking in Error. And I did a video kind of sort of similar to this on this same subject and on this same verse a while back. But you know, as I began to ponder on the word, the most high started to refine this word for me and to me, you know, even dealing with myself, you know, because anytime the Most High gives you something or gives you a word, it always applies to you first. And so I had to, you know, digest this word and think on it, man. And I understand now, you know, why we walk in error. You know, and a lot of us today is walking in error. So I'll begin, and it says, and when he came to his disciples, he saw a great multitude about them, and the scribes questioning them. And straightway all the people, when they beheld him, were greatly amazed, and running to him, saluted him. You know, that's the salute, you know, because we are out here doing the work, you know what I mean, for the kingdom, you know, for Yasharel, his chosen people. So salute to all my brothers and sisters, you know, in the way, you know, that's out here, you know, preaching the word in the highways and the byways, you know, and as my brothers say, Kwam Yasharella, you know what I'm saying? And one of the multitudes answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which have a dumb spirit. So if you go back up to verses, let me see. So the scribe was basically asking the disciples, you know, a question, you know, to the Messiah, you know, and basically, and one of the multitudes answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which have a dumb spirit. So this child had a dumb spirit. Have you ever seen when somebody do something and they be like, man, he dumb. You know what I'm saying? Why he do that? He dumb. You know what I'm saying? And this is the same instance, because, you know, a lot of times when you see, you know, even grown adults in this age, you know what I'm saying, in this time and this age doing certain things, you wonder why they doing it. It's because they got a dumb spirit on them. You know, I'm pretty sure we all have done some dumb things in our lives that, you know, we regret. You know what I mean? I mean, life is full of regrets. If you don't regret nothing, you've never lived. You know what I'm saying? And so it's funny because, you know, you'll look at people and be like, man, why he do that? That's dumb. That's dumb. He dumb. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, you know, help you see why the scriptures is saying he had a dumb spirit on him. He did have a dumb spirit on him because he hadn't been taught anything. You know, because a lot of the things, you know, as the old saying goes, we learn in school, but we're taught at home. So, you know, a lot of times, a lot of us come from dysfunctional families, and what that means is that, you know, we come from a home where we wasn't taught. You see what I'm saying? You know, where we wasn't taught about life, where we wasn't taught about the birds and the bees, where we wasn't taught about, you know, certain things, you know what I'm saying? And so they'd be like, man, he dumb. You know what I'm saying? Why he do that? You see what I'm saying? And so this child had a dumb spirit on him. And whosoever he talk it, and so to kind of give you a backdrop on this, you know, I'm gonna try to be short, but to kind of give you a backdrop at that time, in that day when Yahusha came, they were up under Roman occupation. So we understand that the Romans, the Greeks, you know, you had the Greeks, then you had the Romans, you had the Babylonians, which was basically your Shemite people. You know what I mean? Then you had Medo Persia, you know, which is basically like, you know, Ishmael, basically, you know what I mean, in so many words. And then you had the Greeks, you know, which was, Alexander the Great and all of them. And then you had, Rome, which was Constantine, you know. And so at that time, Caesar, you know, basically, Nero and all of them, you know. And so basically, at that time, Yasharel was up under Roman occupation. And so being under Roman occupation, we weren't allowed to keep certain practices and certain customs that we keep, you know. And you can go back and read the book of Maccabees, you know, and you'll see in the book of Maccabees basically what I'm talking about, as far as the eating of swine flesh, and the keeping of the feast. And I'm gonna do another video on this, on what Paul said. I gotta find it first before I can do it. But so you have to understand at that time they were up under Roman occupation, and you have to understand up under that time, you know, because nothing is new up under the sun. And so the same thing that's going on then is going on now, you know, because the church is up under the Roman occupation. You see what I'm saying? The church is from the Roman Catholic Church. You see what I'm saying? The daughters of the harlot. You see what I'm saying? Which is, she had the mystery of Babylon. You see what I'm saying? This is the mystery, you know, because during the Roman during the Reformation of Protestant Reformation, I can't. It's so much stuff on my head, but during the Reformation of the church, when the Protestants broke away from the Catholic Church, you know, this is where you get your Methodists and your Baptists and your Angelicals, and this is where you get all these daughters of the whore. You see what I'm saying? And which is basically up under the Roman occupation. You see what I'm saying? And so, during that time, it was basically the Roman Catholic Church then. You know what I mean? And so they weren't allowed to keep certain customs and certain practices. You know what I mean? That's why you had Pontius Pilate and Augustus, and these characters that that the Bible mentions. You see what I'm saying? And so they weren't allowed to keep Passover and things like that. That's why Passover, when it came to Passover, the Most High told them to go to the man, and he would take them to the upper room. You see what I'm saying? Because that Lord's Supper was done in secret, basically. You see what I'm saying? And so at that time, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, which were basically your priest and your scribes, basically, your scribes basically were the Sadducees, the ones who wrote like Baruch. You know what I mean? And then you had, your Pharisees, which were your priests, your essences and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And at that time, the seats were, it wasn't according to how, the Most High chose Aaron or chose Zadok, or chose, the high priestly order, the priest at that time where, it went down through the lineage. You see what I'm saying? The seat was bought at that time. And so this is why, the word was corrupted. You see what I'm saying? And so your Pharisees and your scribes at the time wasn't keeping Torah. They were living by the oral law, which was the law of a man, Torah. The law of man. They wasn't living by Torah. They were just basically living by their word. You know what I mean? And then when you go back and you read the Talmud and some of the Talmud, that the things that it says, it really doesn't complement or isn't it's not it isn't cohesive to the Torah. So I'm trying to get you to understand the backdrop to this or whatever, and I'm gonna try to be short. And so you have to understand at that time they wasn't allowed to keep the feast days and keep all of these days, and so the seats were paid for. So the scribes and the Pharisees, they weren't living according to Torah. And we have to understand that Yahusha was the Torah. You see what I'm saying? Yahusha was the word. Because in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. You see what I'm saying? And when Moshe went up the mountain, you know what I'm saying, that's who he went to see. That's how he talked to Elohim, or talked to the Ancient of Days face to face, because the Ancient of Days on the mountain came down in this physical form. You see what I'm saying? And so when he was talking to Yeshua in that time, because Yeshua means salvation, Yeshua was giving him the law, the commandments and the laws, because the commandments and the laws are our salvation. You see what I'm saying? And so it's our righteousness. And so this was the very thing that was happening at that time, because during the time of John the Immerser and Yeshua, the Torah wasn't accepted. You see what I'm saying? They basically were living basically up under what we would call today Christianity. You see what I'm saying? And so just trying to give you the backdrop. And so it was apparent that this child was dumb, because his father had basically made idols out of his position. You see what I'm saying? Because they were receiving money. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm going to take you to Exodus 20 real quick. Exodus 20 and 5. And it says, we're going to start at verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So they made themselves God by not keeping the word. And so this is the adultery is what happened, which is, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. And this is what they did, because money is an idol. So they basically, made money their idol, because the seat was paid for. And so it says, thou shalt not bow down themselves to them, nor serve them, for Yahuwah thy Elohim am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and the fourth generation of them that hate him. And so this is why you see the child acting dumb, because the child wasn't properly taught according to the scriptures. You see what I'm saying? We're going to go over here to Deuteronomy 6 and 4. And so it says, Hear, O Yasharel, Yahuwah our Elohim is Adonai. And thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. So this is why the child was dumb, because the father who was basically, what we would call a scribe, a Pharisee, um, he was only in the position for the money, for the wealth, which is what we see in the church today. You know what I'm saying? They don't teach the Torah according to the word. They don't teach it correctly. They don't tell you that the law is not done away with. You see what I'm saying? And so because of that, they have made money their idol. You see what I'm saying? They're doing it for the money and not for the love of the word. Excuse me. And so this is why we see, in the so-called black community today that, our children are that they don't listen, that they're rebellious. You see what I'm saying? This is why, a child can off his parent, or if a child don't want to get a whooping, he can go to school, and tell the teacher, well, my parents been whooping on me and they did this and did that. And then they call in child protective services. You see what I'm saying? Because the government, has enacted laws to where you can't whoop your children anymore. Because the word says, spare the rod, spoil the child. You see what I'm saying? And this is why a lot of our children are spoiled today. And this is why we see the things that's going on today. How they just, shooting each other down in the street, and, how, we have, all these single parent homes. You see what I'm saying? Which at one time I was a part of too, and I take full responsibility for that thing, for those things. And so this is why you see what I'm saying? Because the sins of the fathers have fallen down to the third and the fourth generation. You see what I'm saying? Because our fathers, didn't teach us according to the Torah. They taught us according to their ways and the wisdom that they have, but they didn't teach us according to the knowledge of the word. The word says in Proverbs that the beginning of wisdom. Matter of fact, let's go there because I don't want to quote it wrong. So we're going to go to Proverbs and then we're going to go back over there. Proverbs 1 and 1. We're going to start at 1. Verse, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Yasharel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instructions of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give stability to the simple. This child was simple. To thy young men, knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will instruct, increase learning. See, this is what was supposed to be going on. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel, to understand the proverb and the interpretation, the word of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And this is what was happening between this son and this father. This is why the child was dumb. Have you ever taken your child? Matter of fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let me go back. Mark 9. Where were we? Verse is 17. And one of the multitudes answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which have a dumb spirit. And wheresoever he taketh him, he teareth him, and he foameth and gnash with his teeth and penneth away. And I speak to thy disciples that they should have cast him out, and they could not. So have you ever took your child out in public and your child just fall out in public because when you go into the store, you know what I'm saying, they want candy and they want this and they want that, and you tell them no, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, they can't get it, and so they just fall out. I want candy. You know what I'm saying? In the middle in the middle of the store. I remember back in the day when we was growing, shoot, you better not fall. You will get whooped right there in the middle of the store. Nowadays, you can't do that. You see what I'm saying? And this has, corrupted our children because, now you can't, chasing your children. The word of the Most High says, whom Yah loves, he chastens. You see what I'm saying? So you can't chasten your child now. And this is the reason why, the parents of the children are scared of them, because we up under this, no, don't whoop them, just put them in the corner. No, don't whoop them, just take away his PS2. That's what you got to do now. You know what I'm saying? But you take away their PS2, they liable to off you. They PS5 or whatever they got now, they liable to off you. You know what I'm saying? And he answered and said, "O faithful fatherless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you, bringing him unto me?" So you see, he said, excuse me, my nose is itching. He said, so you see, he said, fatherless generation, because we have subjected ourselves to idols, to our job and to, and to our money and to our clothes and to our cars and to, all this stuff. That's why you see these rappers and all this stuff. They have these gold chains and these big rings, and they always putting big loads of piles of money in your face because it's a ritual. You see what I'm saying? And it's to make you jealous. You know what I'm saying? So that, you begin to idolize them and you begin to chase after the idols that they're presenting in front of your face. They make you an idol. You know what I'm saying? Just like the stars, you know what I'm saying? The movie stars, we know, excuse me. We know all the movie stars' names, but we don't even know none of the books of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but we know all the names of the stars. We can name every movie, every star, you know what I'm saying, in the movie. But we can barely name 5 books of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But, and that's the thing about Hollywood, because, you know what I'm saying, that's a part of witchcraft. That's what they made the witch's wine from, is from Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? And so in witchcraft is deception, manipulation, and intimidation. You see what I'm saying? So it's all to deceive you. You see what I'm saying? It's all to intimidate you, because a man will feel intimidated if he don't have the money that somebody else has, because he'll feel like, man, if I bring my woman around this man, you know what I'm saying, he liable. And that's what's happening in today's time. You know what I'm saying? You hear it all in the music. You know what I'm saying? In their music, they chanting and casting spells, just like with that Bone Thugs and Harmony album they came out with. One of my this guy that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, he used to like Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I'm saying? He bought the album and everything, and on the back it had a curse on the back of the album cover. And it had like a little inscription, a message on the back, but it was a curse or whatever. And that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? It's all in the music, and then we wonder why our children are out here, deleting each other, you know what I'm saying? And, because words are spirit, you know what I mean? And this is how he received the dumb spirit, because of what he was being taught. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, back in the day, or the way I learned, that you was taught at school, but you learned that you learned at school, but you was taught at home. So we're not teaching our children at home, man. It's crazy, because I've encountered people who teach their children to be disrespectful to grown-ups. I was sleeping in this park, after I got my car took and stuff, and I was, under my covers. A friend of mine, or this guy that was looking out for me, that helped me, he gave me a what they call them, camping bag, you could sleeping bag or whatever, because it was getting cold in the fall, and I didn't have a place to stay. And you know what I'm saying, I was sleeping in the park one morning because I was staying, I would usually sleep on the back porch of this Catholic priest, you know what I'm saying, a black guy from Africa, or You know what I'm saying? But it's a good dude, man. He never said anything to me. He would come out of the back door and see me sleeping on the back porch, and he wouldn't say nothing. He'd just close the door and go out the other way. You know what I'm saying? And so in the morning, because I started to learn his schedule, I would get up at a certain time, and I would go down, ride my bike, and go down in the park, and finish sleeping in the park. And so one morning I was half asleep, and this woman and her child was walking by me, and she was like, "This what you do to trash." You know what I'm saying? This is how people teach their children. You know what I'm saying? This is the time and the day and the age that we living in where they don't have no principle, no morals at all, no character. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why these children is dumb. This is why the children, they can disrespect their elders. We couldn't do that back in the day. I caught the ass end of it, but you know what I'm saying? It was a time where if you got in trouble up the street, you would get a whooping up the street and go down to your house and get a whooping too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't let your mama call your daddy. You know what I'm saying? These days they don't do nothing because we come up in dysfunctional homes. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of our parents, because of the crack era, are either locked up in the penitentiary on dope, you know what I'm saying, or in the grave. You see what I'm saying? And so this is why you have, a generation of children who have no father, the fatherless. And it says, he answered him and said, "O fatherless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me." And they brought him unto him. And when he saw him, straightway the spirits tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. So, you know what I'm saying? When the word came from him, he didn't want it. When somebody, "I don't want to, no, I don't want to, stop talking to me. I don't want to hear it, no. That's exactly what he was doing, because when the word was coming forth to him and telling him, "No, you can't do that. You can't do that. And if you do it again, I'm going to whoop you." You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get your, spare not the child. Yeshua was going to whoop his butt. You know what I'm saying? And he, "Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to hear that. Just like a lot of people today, they don't want to hear it. They like little children. This is why Paul said, when I was a child, you know what I'm saying, I thought as a child, acted as a child, but when I became a man, I put childish things behind me. We got a lot of grown people and a lot of children in grown bodies. And when you come to them and tell them and correct them, they don't want to hear it. So what they do is they start, they start throwing they little insults at you. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to hear the truth and they don't want to change their ways. You know what I'm saying? Because they still in a child mind state. And so and they brought him, and so he didn't want to hear it. He's the spirit in him, because the words are spirit. Words are spirit. You know what I'm saying? And words are, when you transfer word, that's why words are spells. You see what I'm saying? And you transfer words, you can do it through your eye gates or your ear gates. What you see and what you hear. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us is impressionable. You see what I'm saying? I'm about to close out because I'm getting to the 30-minute marker. And he answered his father, "How long is it ago since he came unto him?" And he said, "Of a child." Why was it of a child? Because his father was so busy with his occupation and so busy idolizing money and chasing money that he didn't teach his son Torah. And oftentimes it cast him into the fire and into the water. So it casted him into the fire, because fire represents trouble. So oftentimes, we get ourselves into trouble because we haven't been taught right. Because we haven't been taught Torah. So we find ourselves in the penitentiary. We finding ourselves in the grave. We finding ourselves with disease. With spiritually transmitted diseases, as well as, STDs. And into the water. So, have you ever been in a position where you was drowning? where you couldn't pay your bills, where you didn't know what you was going to eat, where your next meal was going to come from, where you was going to get your children's next club. This is drowning. That's in a state of drowning. You're drowning and you don't know what to do. And Yeshua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Oh, excuse me, I skipped. To destroy him. But if thou canst not do anything, have compassion on us and help us. So the fire and water was going to destroy him. That's why we see a lot of our children being destroyed today. Because of drill music. You know, because of chasing after these idols. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to flash their jewels, you know what I'm saying? And not understanding that you got to sell your soul to get there. That's what they don't tell you. They might play like they didn't sell their soul, but they sold it. You don't just get nothing for free in the devil's kingdom. So, and it says, Yeshua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. So what are we believing in? If you believe in the Torah. Look, I'll go to Psalms. We're going to go to Psalms real quick, and then I'm about to close out. I already read it. Did I read that? No, I don't know if I read it, but I'm going to read it again just in case. Psalms 23. For the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff. They comfort me. Thou preparest a table before. So this is what the Torah does for us. You know. That's what the Torah is our Lord and our shepherd. It shepherds us. So I'm about to close out, man. Mark 9. Where was I at? Okay. And so you have to believe in the Torah. You know what I'm saying? That's why Yeshua asked ask Peter, who do you say I am? Who do you believe I am? You know, who do you believe I am? Do you believe I'm the Torah? And so it said, and straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Yahuwah, or Yahusha, I believe, help thou my unbelief. So it's impossible to please the Most High without faith. So if you're not keeping the faith, if you're not keeping the Torah, if you're not keeping the scriptures, it's impossible to please him. When Yeshua saw the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, thou dumb and deaf spirit. He was dumb and he was deaf. Because why? He didn't want to hear. They closed their ears. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, we don't want to hear that. Have you ever seen it? Ah, la, 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 when you try to tell somebody, ah, la, la, childish. Childish. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Don't want to hear nothing. La, 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 la. I done it before. You know what I'm saying? I don't want, la, 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 la. You be trying to tell them, they be, la, 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 walking away. You know what I'm saying? He had a dumb and a deaf spirit. He was dumb, getting himself into all kind of trouble. And he had a deaf spirit because he didn't want to hear. I charged thee, but he said, I charge you. I'm going to charge you, okay? Yeah, that's what we doing now. We charging you. Don't say we didn't tell you. We charging you right now. Just like when you go to the store and you pay for something, they charge you. You gonna pay for it. That's why we charging you right now, because you gonna pay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. And I charged thee, came out of him, and enter no more into him. You know what I'm saying? And the spirit cried and rent him sore and came out of him and was as one dead, insomuch many said, he is dead. We die daily. We die to the flesh. So because, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't living like them, they thought he was dead. Because he wasn't, you know what I'm saying, having multiple sexual partners. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, YouTube, he wasn't promiscuous. You know, he wasn't promiscuous no more. He didn't look like them no more. So he dead. Hey, I no lie. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been, my back been against the wall. So, you know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get myself out of the situation instead of, you know, just trusting in the Most High, but I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? But I had, you know, caught a lift, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? With this little chick, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, you know, work my way out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do it within my own strength. But hey, it was funny because after everything went down and I was, you know, I shot my little shot at her, you know what I'm saying? She was like, I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? And to me, spiritually, that registered that she was dead spiritually. So you could be dead physically to the spirit, be alive, and you could be alive, dead to the spirit and alive physically. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's confirmation. Look, and the spirit cried and rent sore and came out of him, and he was as one dead, insomuch that many said he is dead. But Yeshua took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. So the word brought him alive, the spirit. He was alive spiritually. You know, he was no longer living in the world, doing the things of the world that the world is doing. Y'all know what we do in the world. You know what I'm saying? I could say something, but I ain't gonna say. Hey, look, I'm about to get up out of here, man. Shalom, peace and blessings. This is the word of wisdom. Humbly, shalom.